So we are starting with the concept of linear regression. Linear regression tries to establish the relationship or model a relationship rather between your explanatory variable and dependent variable. If you remember, what did I tell you? Explanatory variable, what does it mean? You either call it as input variable or you also call it as independent variable. Okay, so either independent variable or explanatory variable or input variable. Okay, now how does linear regression do this? How does it model the relationship between these two variables? It does by fitting the observed data points on a linear equation. So maybe we are trying to model the BMI of individuals by using their weight. Okay, so the BMI will be the dependent variable and the weight of the person will be an explanatory variable. Now linear regression is something that finds application across lots of fields. So some of the common applications are given below. So let us see them one by one. So the first one is real estate. Maybe I want to model the prices of homes in a particular area. So how will I model it? I'll model it using the home's living area. So I may have variables like number of bathrooms, number of bedrooms, the parking is there or no, the school district ranking, the crime statistics, the property taxes. So all these will be considered as my input variables and they will be deciding the value of the output variable or the dependent variable, that is the price of the home in that particular residential area. Okay. Now the next example of linear regression is demand forecasting. So maybe businessmen or governments, they will use regression models to predict the demands of goods and services. So maybe restaurant chains can predict the type and quantity of the food that the customers will consume based on the weather, day of the week, or whether an item is offered as a special, what time of day it is, reservations kitna hua hai, are there any festivals around the corner. Okay, all these things they will use as their input variables and they will try to predict the demand for a particular dish in their restaurant. Okay, now similar models can be used to predict the retail sales, the hospital visit volumes, कि हॉस्पिटल में कितना रश होने वाला है, the ambulance dispatches, etc. Okay, now in medical field these things they will, these models they will be used to analyze the effect of radiation treatment on reducing the size of tumor. So maybe the input variables can be the duration of single radiation treatment, frequency क्या है radiation treatment का, patient का age क्या है, weight क्या है, या other attributes of the patient, etc. So using all these input variables, they will try to predict how the radiation treatment will have an effect on reducing a tumor size. Okay, now there are different types of linear regressions. The very first one is simple linear regression. Okay, now the linear regression will try to model the relationship between two variables by fitting a linear equation to the observed data. So the first variable in the entire process is considered to be the explanatory variable, whereas the second variable is considered as dependent variable. Okay. Now, before I try to fit a linear model to my observed data, I have to determine whether there is a relationship between the variables of interest or there is no relationship between the variables of interest. Okay, for example, every time it will not happen that one variable implies second variable. So for example, higher SAT scores do not cause higher college grades, but there is some association between the two variables. So अब relationship या association कैसे फाइंड आउट करोगे, मतलब वो है या नहीं है कैसे फिगर आउट करोगे? Then you have a graph which is called as a scatter plot. You have a graph which is called as a scatter plot. Okay. Now, once you plot your data on this scatter plot, looking at the plot, you will be able to understand whether there is any trend, and if there is any trend, what kind of trend it is. Is it a positive trend or is it a negative trend? Okay. Now, if I want to find out the numerical value of the relationship, then I can go ahead with something that is called as correlation coefficient. There is a coefficient which is called as correlation coefficient. Now, value of this coefficient goes between -1 to +1. Now, depending upon the value, it will tell you the strength of the association of the observed data for the two variables. Now, let us say that the two variables are positively correlated. Two variables are positively correlated. What do you mean by positive correlation? Anyone, any guesses? Absolutely correct. If one variable is increasing, the another variable will also increase. If one variable falls down, the other variable will also fall down. Now, if there is a positive correlation between the variables, then your coefficient will tend towards 1. So, if you have correlation coefficient values like 0.8, 0.7, 0.85, 0.91, 0.95, 0.99, 1, अगर ऐसे values है आपके, then it is a positive correlation. If the values are towards +1, then it is a positive correlation. इसका opposite जो होता है वो होता है negative correlation. Negative correlation means what? If one quantity increases, the other one will decrease. And if the first quantity decreases, then the other one will increase. So it is a seesaw kind of relationship. You are getting my point, guys? Yes or no? So basically जब ऐसा relationship होता है, then it is called as negative. And जब -1 से आजू बाजू में values होने वाले हैं, then you say that the relationship is negative. The correlation coefficient is tending towards -1. Okay, and if the correlation coefficient is 0 or in and around 0, it typically indicates that there is no strong relationship between the two variables. Okay, now how is the linear regression equation formed? Now you will be able to see two equations over here. So let us first see the first equation, then we will see the second, and I'll explain you the difference between the two also. So सबसे पहले ऊपर वाले इक्वेशन पे कॉन्सेंट्रेट करो. y is equal to a plus bx. अभी सबसे पहले वेरिएबल्स. x is your explanatory variable, y is your dependent variable. x is your explanatory variable, y is your dependent variable. Understood? What is a? A is called as intercept. A is called as intercept. What is the technical meaning of the intercept? Intercept is nothing but the value of y when x is 0. When this x will become 0, then what will be the value of y? That is the a, which is called as intercept. Okay. What is b? B is slope of the line. It is also called as slope coefficient. It is also called as slope coefficient. It is also called as slope coefficient. Am I very clear on this? Okay. Now I want you to look at the equation below. Y is your dependent variable. A is your intercept. Here, what did we use to replace A? Beta 0. Correct? The meaning does not change. Plus. slope coefficient into x, that is your independent variable, correct? So instead of giving b, I have given beta 1. Understood? Then what is new in this equation? Only this part is new. This term is called as random error term, or also called as random error component. Many times you have to make certain provision for error. Equations cannot be perfect. So अगर हमने linear regression model with an error explain किया, so that will become EI. You can write this as EI, small e also. That is also correct. Everyone with me? Both the equations are same. A is actually replaced by beta 0 and B is replaced by beta 1. The only addition is this term. Any doubt? Pakka, no doubt? Okay. This was linear regression. This was which regression? Simple linear regression. Now we have another type of linear regression which is called as Randsack linear regression. Now Randsack stands for random sample consensus. Randsack stands for random sample consensus. Now what happens is, many times your data has lots of outliers in it. And if I consider that data as it is to develop a model, then your model will not be accurate, because the outliers will disturb your entire model. Please remind yourself what is outliers. What are outliers? Anyone knows the concept of outliers? No one? Absolutely correct. Extreme values. So अगर मैंने height consider किया, so 8 feet 1 inch, 9 feet 3 inches, 7 feet 5 inches, अगर ऐसे values है मेरे data में, then these values are going to pollute my other data. These are outliers, and I will like to remove these outliers before I train my model, before I develop my model, correct? So it is very important to have an algorithm in place which will allow you to remove such outliers from your data. Okay? So Randsack linear regression is one such model which will allow you to determine the inliers and outliers. So how does it work with it? Okay, so the algorithm randomly selects a random number of samples to be inliers in the model. It will randomly select some samples and it will say that these are inliers in my model. Okay, so all data is used to fit the model, and the samples that fall within a certain tolerance are relabeled as inliers. So you relabel your inliers. Now that you have your new inliers, you fit the model again. So the model is refitted with these new inliers. हम लोग ने स्टार्ट किया था तो हम लोग ने रैंडमली कहा था कि ये मेरे इनलायर्स हैं, करेक्ट? फिर डेटा यूज किया मॉडल को फिट करने के लिए. अभी जो भी सैंपल्स एक टॉलरेंस रेंज में आते थे उनको हमने रीलेबल किया एज इनलायर्स. सो रीलेबलिंग इज हैपनिंग ओवर हियर. जो शायद से पहले जो इनलायर नहीं था वो अभी इनलायर होगा, या फिर जो इनलायर था वो अभी आउटलायर बन जाएगा रीलेबलिंग में. अभी ये जो relabeled inliers है, the model is refitted with these new inliers. Okay. Now the error of the fitted model versus the inliers is calculated. तो आपको पता चलता है कि आपने मॉडल को कितना अच्छे से फाइन ट्यून किया है. Okay. अगर आपका क्राइटेरिया या नंबर ऑफ इटरेशन सेटिस्फाई हुए हैं तो प्रोसेस बंद करो, एंड अगर नंबर ऑफ इटरेशन सेटिस्फाई नहीं हुआ है और यू हैव नॉट मेट अ पर्टिकुलर परफॉर्मेंस लेवल, एक एक्यूरेसी नहीं आया है अभी तक आपके मॉडल को, देन कंटिन्यू द प्रोसेस अगेन. एवरीवन विथ मी? सो व्हेनेवर यू आर नॉट, you have a data where it is a mix of inliers and outliers, you will not be in position to directly apply simple linear regression to it. You will have to go for something which is called as Randsack linear regression, because your outliers can pollute your model. You don't want that to happen. You want to remove your outliers first. Correct? So ransack linear regression will allow you to do that. Okay, it allows you to work with a data which has lot of outliers in it. अभी next आता है U transformation. Now if you have studied digital image processing or image analysis or computer vision, so this particular transformation is used in that. It is a part of feature extraction technique, and the purpose of this technique is just to find out imperfect instances of objects within a certain class of shapes. So there is something which is called as voting procedure. So voting procedure is carried out in a parameter space, from which the object's candidates are obtained as local maxima in a so-called accumulator space. So basically क्या किया जाता है, पर्टिकुलर ऑब्जेक्ट के जो इम्परफेक्ट इंस्टेंसेस है, जो अच्छे इंस्टेंसेस नहीं है, उसको वोटिंग प्रोसीजर से रूल आउट किया जाता है. ओके, नाउ whenever you're working with robotics, robot vision, you have to work with methods like U transformation and ransack technique. Any doubt in any of the three different types of linear regression? I'm saying distribution, it is wrong. Linear regression. Any doubt in linear regression, or I can go ahead with logistic regression. Okay, so logistic regression क्या होता है, and linear regression and logistic regression में difference क्या है? One of the biggest difference in linear and logistic regression is the nature of the outcome variable. Now you will ask me, what is this outcome variable? Have I taught you what is the outcome variable? Yes. Did I teach you dependent variable? What is another name for dependent variable? Output variable. Okay, and what is the third name for dependent variable? It is outcome variable. Please do not get confused in all this. Okay, independent variable, also called as input variable, also called as explanatory variable. Okay, output variable, also called as dependent variable, also called as outcome variable. Perfect. Different names of the same concept. Concept does not change. Okay, now in linear regression, this output variable or dependent variable or outcome variable is typically a continuous variable. It is typically a continuous variable. Now what do you mean by continuous variable? I tell you, percentage. Okay, you have given your exams and you have gotten your marks now, and you are calculating your percentage. Whenever you are calculating your percentage, the percentage can be considered as a continuous variable. Someone will have 80.1%, someone will have 81.3%, someone will have 70.5%. The values are continuous in nature, correct? But when you are talking about logistic regression, the value of your output variable or your dependent variable or your outcome variable will be categorical in nature. So what can be example of categorical variables? Consider your grade. So you either get an O grade, or you get an A grade, or you get an B grade, or you get an C grade, or you get a D grade, right? Is there anything between A and B? No. Is there anything between O and A? No. Means you fall in one of the categories, right? That is called as categorical. That is called as categorical. Okay. Now, logistic regression may be applied to the outcome variable that has multiple values. But logistic regression can also be applied to the outcome variable that can have only two values. So, two values क्या हो सकते हैं? Either the student has passed or failed. The answer is yes or no. It is true or false. Okay, for example, my question is, person will or will not purchase a new car in next 12 months. A person will or will not purchase a new car in next 12 months. Okay, if this is my question, then it is a logistic regression case, because answer is expected in yes or no. Correct? Now, what will my input variables include? Input variable may include the person's age, the salary of the person, that is the income of the person, the gender, as well as ki current car uska kitna purana hai, so the age of existing automobile. You're getting it? And what will be the outcome variable? The outcome variable will be yes or no. Everyone with me? Now, as linear regression has its own applications, the logistic regressions also have their own applications. You have to understand one thing, that the applications of linear and logistic regressions, even though they pertain to the same field, the actual application itself is different. Okay, many times what students ask me is कि मैम वहाँ पे भी medical था, यहाँ पर भी medical है. Yes, correct. मेडिकल फील्ड में लॉजिस्टिक रिग्रेशन भी उतना ही अच्छे से अप्लाई हो सकता है जितना कि लीनियर रिग्रेशन, बट द यूज केसेस आर डिफरेंट, द एरियाज ऑफ एप्लीकेशन विल बी डिफरेंट, और द क्वेश्चंस दैट वी आर ट्राइंग टू आंसर विल बी डिफरेंट. तो अंदर का कंटेंट अगर आप अच्छे से पढ़ोगे तो आपको समझेगा कि भले ही फाइनेंस दोनों जगह पे है, भले ही मार्केटिंग दोनों जगह पे है, फिर भी द इनसाइड कंटेंट इज डिफरेंट. Everyone with me? Have you understood this point? What I am trying to convey to you? So, medical. You are trying to develop a model to determine the likelihood of patient's successful response to a particular medical treatment or a procedure. Okay? So, you know, many times you must have seen saying that ki, as a doctor, I do not recommend this procedure to this patient. But the same doctor is recommending the same procedure to another patient. So what has changed? Based on the input variables, the output has been affected. Certain procedure may work well with the patients in certain age group, but it will not work well with the patients in another age group. Correct? So the doctor is basically trying to consider variables like age, weight, blood pressure, cholesterol levels, etc. to find out whether the patient will successfully respond to a particular treatment or no. Understood? First use case. Second use case is finance. So I can use the credit history of the applicant. I can use the CIBIL score of the applicant. I can have a background check on the applicant just to find out whether I should approve the loan or I should deny the loan. So the loan should be approved or it should be denied, or the terms should be modified. That can be decided based on the credit history, the CIBIL score, and other XYZ things for that applicant. Okay, then marketing. Many times, you know, the customers switch carriers. Means, for example, people switch their mobile service providers. So suppose I am using a XYZ provider services. I am not happy with it. I may switch to ABC service, ABC provider services. Correct? So, what are the parameters that it depends on? Maybe age, number of members who are on a particular plan, how many months are remaining in the existing contract. Okay? And then the next one is engineering. Based on the operating conditions and various diagnostic measurements, I can determine the probability of mechanical part experiencing a malfunction or a failure. Okay, so ये particular estimate क्यों लगता है? आपको maintenance activities ऐसे schedule करने हैं कि वो over maintenance भी नहीं हो रहा है. You want to find out the frequency of your preventive maintenance, कि machine fail होने से पहले maintenance हो जाना चाहिए. बट इतना भी ज़्यादा नहीं होना चाहिए कि इट विल डिस्टर्ब द डेली वर्किंग ऑफ द फैक्ट्री. उतना भी मेंटेनेंस एक्टिविटी नहीं होना चाहिए. So it should not be over maintenance, it should not be under maintenance. I want to find out a correct preventive maintenance activity schedule. Okay. So these are the applications of logistic regression. Any doubts? Okay. So just as we had types of linear regression, we also have types of logistic regression. So the very first type is simple logistic regression. Now simple logistic regression can be used when you have one nominal variable with two values. So is it male or female, sick or healthy, dead or alive, etc. And one measurement variable is there. Okay. So now the nominal variable is a dependent variable, and the measurement variable is an independent variable. So we are seeing one more term that is used for the independent variable. As of now, I was telling you it is an explanatory variable, it is an input variable. Now one more term adds to it, that is the measurement variable. Now logistic regression, also known as logic regression or logit model. The logistic regression works with binary data where the event either happens, that is it's 1, or the event does not happen, that is 0. Okay. Now in linear regression, as I earlier told you, the outcome variable or your output variable or the dependent variable is continuous in nature. Okay. But when your output variable, dependent variable, is categorical in nature, then the logistic regression can be used to predict the likelihood of the outcome based on the input variables. So continuous है variable तो linear regression use करो, categorical है variable तो logistic regression use करो. Okay. Now simple logistic regression is actually analogous to your linear regression, except for the fact that your dependent variable is nominal, it is not a measurement. Okay, the value is a nominal value. You're getting it? Now I may develop a logistic regression model to determine whether the person will buy a new automobile or a car in next 12 months or no. What are the input variables that we have already discussed? The age of the automobile, the existing automobile, obviously, the person's age, the person's income, the gender, etc. Okay. Now the logistic regression is based on the logistic function f of y, which is given as, everyone, can you just read out the equation once on your own? Okay. Yeah. I hope you have read the equation once. So this equation you have to typically by heart. Okay. Now you have something which is called as multinomial logistic regression. Abhi multinomial logistic regression is used to predict a nominal dependent variable given one or more independent variables. So it is an extension of your binomial logistic regression. Okay. Now as with other type of regressions, the multinomial logistic regression can have a nominal and or continuous independent variables, and it can have interaction between the independent variables to predict the dependent variable. Okay. Now the only change is that the dependent variable is a nominal variable with more than 2 levels. So we are not restricting ourselves to yes, no, true, false, 1, 0, on, off. We are not restricting ourselves to only 2 levels as we did in simple logistic regression. Here in multinomial logistic regression, we are saying that you can have different values of dependent variables. Different values means more than 2 values. So let's say that based on the location in UK and the age, the type of drink preference will change. So it has 4 categories. The categories are the coffee, the soft drink, the tea and the water. Okay. So let's say for my input value, that is location in UK, I have 3 locations: London, South UK and North UK. The age, on other hand, is a continuous variable. So you have two input variables, whereas one output variable with 4 values. Are you getting it? Here another example is given where multinomial logistic regression is used to understand whether the factors such as employment duration within the firm, total employment duration, qualification and gender affects the person's job position. So job position is a dependent variable. It has 3 categories. What are the 3 categories that job position has? Junior management, middle management and the senior management. अभी आपके independent variables कौन से हैं? The duration of employment within firm and total duration of employment. Both are measured in years and they are continuous. Qualifications को nominal values रहेंगे. Let's say no degree or undergraduate degree or postgraduate degree or PhD. Gender will have 2 categories, males and females. Are you able to understand? Yes. Multinomial logistic regression समझो. Any doubt, guys? No doubt? Very clear? Okay. Now, ordinal logistic regression. Ordinal means what? Whenever I say the name is or the variable is nominal, whatever label I am giving to it, the order of the label does not matter. But when the order of the label matters, it becomes ordinal. Now, for example, I say I have a 4-point Likert scale going from strongly disagree to strongly agree. So, strongly disagree, disagree, agree and strongly agree. Okay. So, suppose I give the score as 1 to strongly disagree. What will be the score of disagree? 2. What will be the score of agree? 3. What will be the score of strongly agree? 4. So is it okay if I change the positions of these 4 names? Strongly agree, फिर agree डाल दिया, फिर strongly disagree डाल दिया, फिर disagree डाल दिया. ऐसे चलेगा? कुछ भी position उथल पुथल किया तो नहीं चलेगा ना? The order has some meaning to it, correct? Yes or no? So when order has some meaning to it, it becomes the ordinal variable. It becomes which variable? Ordinal variable. Ordinal means the order is important. Nominal में order important नहीं होता है. जैसे male and female. Male पहले डालो या female पहले डालो या कोई भी order choose करो, doesn't really matter. You're getting it? Male female को replace करके M and F लिखा तो भी it doesn't matter. So it is a nominal. Are you getting my point? Ordinal में the order will matter. Everyone with me? The second example of ordinal dependent variable is, let's say, where we are predicting the obesity. So obesity is measured in 3 categories: normal, overweight and obese. अभी इसका मैंने ऑर्डर चेंज किया तो चलेगा? नॉर्मल के बाद डायरेक्टली ओबेस डाल दिया एंड फिर ओवरवेट डाला तो मतलब नहीं चेंज हो जाएगा? इसका चेंज होगा ना? यस और नो? सो दीज 3 कैटेगरीज आर ऑर्डिनल इन नेचर. दे आर ऑर्डिनल इन नेचर. अंडरस्टूड एवरीवन? ओके. Now, the next concept is on clustering. But before I go to clustering, just tell me one thing. How many of you know the concept of supervised and unsupervised? Supervised learning and unsupervised learning? Okay, see, basically, Aniket, you have a doubt? अच्छा, ओके, आई थॉट यू हैव अ डाउट. ठीक है. सो बेसिकली ना सुपरवाइज्ड एंड अनसुपरवाइज्ड लर्निंग का कंसेप्ट पहले समझ लो. There are various algorithms that come under the umbrella of supervised learning as well as unsupervised learning. But let us understand two very basic techniques that are always related to supervised and unsupervised learning, and they are clustering techniques and classification techniques. So basically जब आप clustering कहते हो then वो unsupervised learning में आ जाता है. एंड क्लासिफिकेशन जब कहते हो तो वो सुपरवाइज लर्निंग में आ जाता है. ओके, सो एज द नेम ओनली टेल्स यू, व्हेन द लर्निंग इज सुपरवाइज्ड मीन्स समवन इज देयर टू हेल्प यू आउट, एंड अनसुपरवाइज्ड नो वन इज हेल्पिंग यू आउट. नाउ लेट अस कन्वर्ट इट टू द AI terminology. In case of classification, your classes are pre-decided. So for example, I have every one of you has told me your favorite colors, and now I am dividing your favorite colors into two classes, cool colors and warm colors. So I already know my classes. There are labels that are attached beforehand. And now I just want to shift the colors either in class 1 or class 2. Supervised learning, classification. Unsupervised learning, you have unlabeled data and you want to find hidden structures in that data. So जब आप clustering करते हो तो उसको unsupervised इसलिए कहा जाता है कि clusters बनने से पहले आपको पता नहीं होता है कि उस cluster का label क्या होगा. पहले clusters बनते and then you try to study the data and then you try to find out कि okay, ये cluster को हम लोग ये नाम दे सकते हैं. Are you with me? So clustering is a classic example of unsupervised learning. Clustering is a classic example of unsupervised learning, whereas classification is a classic example of supervised learning. So when I say clustering, I want to find out the hidden structure within my unlabeled data. I do not know what labels I am going to apply to my clusters. The structure of the data describes the objects of interest and determines how best to group the objects. The groups कि ऐसे group बनाना है, that is not predefined. The criteria for grouping is decided in real time. So clustering is a method which is often used for exploratory analysis of the data. जब आपको data के बारे में ज़्यादा कुछ पता नहीं है, you want to explore it, then you use clustering. So clustering में कोई predictions नहीं किया जाता. तो clustering करना क्यों है? Clustering इसलिए करना है because I need to find out the similarity between the objects according to the object's attributes and group similar objects into clusters. Okay, now clustering techniques find their application in various branches of science, marketing, economics, sales, etc. Okay, any doubt as of now? Okay, now it is often said that the clustering is often used as a lead into the classification. मतलब पहले clustering किया जाता है and फिर classification use किया जाता है, ऐसे उसका मतलब निकलता है. Okay, कि एक बार clusters are identified, the labels are applied to each cluster to classify each group based on its characteristics. Because when the clusters are formed, you can study the characteristics of each individual cluster and then you are in a position to label them. ओके, इसीलिए मैंने कहा कि क्लस्टर्स के लेबल्स कभी भी पहले से प्री डिसाइडेड नहीं होते हैं. ओके, नाउ इमेज प्रोसेसिंग. सो इन इमेज प्रोसेसिंग वी ऑल नो दैट वीडियो इज it is unstructured data that is being collected, and the volume of videos, the speed at which the videos are generated is it is growing in volumes every day. Now within each frame of the video, K-means analysis can be used to identify objects in the videos. Okay, So मेरा टास्क क्या है? My task is to determine which pixels are most similar to each other. Now पिक्सल का सिमिलैरिटी कैसे डिसाइड करोगे? बेस्ड ऑन विच एट्रीब्यूट्स आई डिसाइड इट? आई डिसाइडेड बेस्ड ऑन द एट्रीब्यूट्स लाइक ब्राइटनेस, कलर, लोकेशन, एक्स एंड वाई कोऑर्डिनेट्स इन द फ्रेम एक्सेट्रा. अभी कौन से वीडियोस आपको एनालाइज करना है? मे बी आई विल हैव टू एनालाइज सिक्योरिटी वीडियोस. I will identify the successive frames and I will try to analyze how the clusters are changing, ताकि मुझे पता चलेगा शायद से कि this person is moving from one place to another place. Nowadays people are trying to make programs that will analyze the security videos automatically rather than person sitting in front of camera looking at all the videos. The machine only will do it for you. So clustering is one technique that you can use it there. ओके, मेडिकल फील्ड में कैसे यूज होगा? यू हैव डिफरेंट एट्रीब्यूट्स लाइक हाइट, वेट, एज, ब्लड प्रेशर, कोलेस्ट्रॉल लेवल्स, एंड you can use these attributes to identify clusters. Now clusters can be used to target individuals for specific preventive measures or clinical trial participation. मतलब एक क्लस्टर में जो भी लोग आते हैं, you can propose your clinical trial to them. You can say that ki these people are fit for my clinical trial. Okay. Biology या zoology में you can use it for botany या zoology में you can use it for classification of plants and animals. You can also use it in field of human genetics. So there are lots of applications of clustering in all these fields. Another major application area of clustering is customer segmentation. When I talk of customer segmentation, marketing strategies and the sales strategies or the promotional strategies, students just so basically the marketing strategies are targeted to a certain range of customers. So कौन से customer को कौन सा marketing strategy apply करना है, that is decided on based on different parameters. वो कस्टमर कितने पीरियड के बाद शॉप करता है, वो कस्टमर का एज क्या है, अदर डेमोग्राफिक पैरामीटर्स क्या है, उसका बैकग्राउंड क्या है. ओके, सो ये सब चीजें देखने के बाद ये डिसाइड करना है मुझे कि कौन सा मार्केटिंग स्ट्रैटेजी उसको जाएगा. अ वेरी सिंपल थिंग, द एग्जांपल दैट दे हैव गिवन टू अस ओवर हियर, कि द वायरलेस प्रोवाइडर विल लुक एट फॉलोइंग पैरामीटर्स. मंथली बिल कितना आता है, नंबर ऑफ टेक्स्ट मैसेजेस कितना सेंड किया जा रहा है, या डेटा वॉल्यूम कंज्यूम्ड कितना है, मिनट्स यूज्ड ड्यूरिंग वेरियस डेली पीरियड्स, हाउ मेनी इयर्स दैट पर्सन इज योर कस्टमर, एंड देन द वायरलेस कंपनी विल decide what should be the tactics to increase sales or reduce the customer churn rate, or what kind of promotional plans to give to the customers. Are you getting it? अब सिंपल चीज देखो, आप जब आपका मोबाइल नंबर एंटर करते हो एंड यू ट्राई टू रिचार्ज योर मोबाइल, as soon as you enter your mobile number they tell you कि these are the best plans for you. So how do they figure out that these are the best plans for you? They don't figure it out individually. They find out who are the customers like you. Okay, so probably cluster of different customers is created, and then they study the cluster. Because अगर वो individual customers को study करने के लिए बैठेंगे, they don't have that much kind of time, money and resources also. Are you getting it? Are you understanding what is the meaning of customer segmentation? Yeah. Now the next topic that we have is hierarchical clustering. Hierarchical clustering is a clustering analysis technique where you build a hierarchy of clusters. So instead of building a single cluster or a single set of clusters, you build clusters at different hierarchical levels. Okay, it is obviously an unsupervised clustering algorithm which involves creating clusters that have predominant ordering from top to bottom. Okay, so for example, आप files and folders create करते हो, तो उसका nature कैसे होता है? Hierarchy होता है, correct? So what the algorithm does is it groups similar objects into groups which we obviously call as clusters. The endpoint is a set of clusters or groups where each cluster is distinct from each other clusters and the objects within each cluster are broadly similar to each other. So एक cluster के अंदर के जो objects है वो एक दूसरे से बहुत ज़्यादा similar रहेंगे, but एक cluster दूसरे cluster से distinct होगा. एक cluster दूसरे cluster से distinct होगा, but within the cluster, inside a single cluster, the objects will be very similar to each other. So this is what I want to achieve. Now this clustering technique has two types. One is agglomerative hierarchical clustering and the second one is divisive hierarchical clustering. Now agglomerative hierarchical clustering is a common type of hierarchical clustering which is used to group objects in the clusters based on their similarity. Okay, it is also known as agglomerative nesting. The short form is AGNES. Okay, and it is a bottom-up approach. It is a bottom-up approach. So what we do? We start with every observation, every data you have. Each data is in its own cluster. Okay, so every single data point will form a single cluster. So हर एक cluster में सिर्फ एक ही इंसान बैठा है, ऐसे समझ लो. If I am grouping people together, people का clustering चल रहा है, तो in every cluster only one person is there. So if I have n data points, then I have n clusters. Okay. Now I take two closest data points and make them one cluster. ओके, दो जो सबसे नजदीक है डेटा पॉइंट्स उनको कंबाइन करके मैंने एक क्लस्टर बनाया, तो मेरे पास अभी n-1 क्लस्टर हुए. अंडरस्टूड? देन आई डू व्हाट आई डू इज आई टेक टू क्लोजेस्ट क्लस्टर्स. दो आजू बाजू वाले क्लस्टर्स मैंने एक साथ लिए एंड उनका एक क्लस्टर बनाया. तो अब क्या मिला मुझे? n-2 क्लस्टर्स आई हैव गॉट एंड आई विल रिपीट दीज स्टेप्स till I am left with only one cluster. So bottom up approach is used. हर एक पॉइंट अपने अपने क्लस्टर में है, फिर जो सबसे नजदीक पॉइंट्स है उनको ग्रुप करके मैंने एक क्लस्टर बनाया, फिर ऐसे दो क्लस्टर्स को ग्रुप करके एक और क्लस्टर बनाया. Are you getting it? And that grouping procedure goes on till I have only one cluster. Everyone understood this technique? Are you able to imagine what is going on? Yes? अभी देखो, P and Q, R, S and T, करेक्ट? बॉटम अप अप्रोच यूज करेंगे. बॉटम अप अप्रोच कौन सा है? एग्लोमरेटिव. सबसे पहले मैंने क्या किया? दो क्लोजेस्ट पॉइंट को ग्रुप करके एक क्लस्टर बनाया, फिर दो क्लस्टर्स को ग्रुप करके थर्ड क्लस्टर बनाया. यू आर अंडरस्टैंडिंग? एंड देन फाइनली ये दो को ग्रुप करके सारे पॉइंट्स एक क्लस्टर में आ गए, तो आई स्टॉप. एग्लोमरेटिव ऐसे होता है. डिविसिव कैसे होगा? डिविसिव इज रिवर्स. इट इज अ टॉप डाउन अप्रोच. इट इज अ टॉप डाउन अप्रोच. So we start with one single cluster. सारे points एक ही cluster में. Then what we do? We try to partition the clusters into two least similar clusters. So दो clusters में मैंने partition किया. फिर क्या किया? फिर से उसको दो clusters में partition किया. ये partitioning चलता ही रहेगा जब तक हर एक point अपने अपने singular cluster में नहीं आ जाता. ये चलता ही रहेगा जब तक हर एक पॉइंट अपने अपने सिंगुलर क्लस्टर में नहीं आ जाता. आई होप द कंसेप्ट ऑफ एग्लोमरेटिव एंड डिविसिव क्लस्टरिंग इज वेरी क्लियर विथ यू ऑल. यस? नाउ इफ इट इज वेरी क्लियर विथ यू ऑल, लेट अस स्टॉप ओवर हियर. Partitional clustering is there. We will take it up next time because I don't want you guys to get confused in whatever concepts I have covered till now. Okay? So partitional clustering and rest of the part we will do it next time. Okay.